Joining us over the phone to tell us more about the situation in Sudan is Dr. Cherif Amir, a political analyst. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
The situation in Sudan has been escalating in the last few days, and the Egyptian Foreign Ministry has been watching the events taking place there quite closely, in addition to evacuating Egyptian citizens there. How do you think the Egyptian efforts are going to take? How long will it take to actually get all the citizens out of Sudan?
Well, it's obvious it's very difficult, the situation now. We offer, of course, to ourselves our condolences for the death of one of our diplomats in Sudan. That means that we have a heavy burden now in carrying on the evacuation. It's under fire. No one is committed to the truth now. Hopefully, these 24 hours, it was relative calm. Egypt managed to evacuate not only Egyptians, but also to accept refugees from Sudan. We opened the border. We are still in danger, in grave danger. Unfortunately, also, there is no authority that we can coordinate with inside Sudan. There is two factions fighting each other, and we are in the middle, as President Sisi said. We're not endorsing anyone against the other, but we want our people to be safe. So, as you see on all the TV screens now, all the countries are doing the same to evacuate their citizens. Yes. Egypt has the heaviest burden of all these countries because even the Sudanese hope that Egypt will host them. So we have to be prepared for a heavy task. I think that after the 72 hours truce, I think that the escalation will continue because evacuating foreigners does not mean that there will be calm. That means that they are just clearing the way, paving the way for more violence between the two factions to wait and see who will win.
Yes, the Foreign Ministry had also said in its statement when it came to what's happening in Sudan is that Egypt is always open to the Sudanese brothers, welcoming anyone who fears for themselves during the difficult times right now. Do you expect an influx of Sudanese citizens coming into Egypt?
Of course, it happened before, and now this is the first time in the history of Sudan that the fighting is in the capital, Khartoum. So, of course, they will choose Egypt, the closest country, the safest country. It's more safe than Eritrea or Ethiopia and Libya or Chad. So we are the safest country for them. There is already about 8 million Sudanese living in Egypt, so they will join their families also here. Yes. We will open the doors for everyone, but still, I think that the international community should take its part in the responsibility by helping Egypt to absorb all these refugees. We cannot do it by our own efforts. It's a very heavy burden, and I think that the national community, the UN and Secretary General Guterres has to work with the Egyptian government about it.
Yes, there was an announcement today of a ceasefire, as you just said as well. Do you believe that this ceasefire for 72 hours is going to hold, and will it be enough time to have aid workers come in and maybe help out, or have electricity again and water supply returning back to Khartoum?
It will be very fragile. I don't believe it will live until 72 hours. Let's not forget, these are not regular armies. Even the regular army of Sudan has many factions inside of it. So it's very complex, the situation. You don't know who would do what when. There is no regulations. There is no real ceasefire. There is only mediators between the both parties, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Egypt, and we're doing all what we can do. But there is no authority, real authority on the people on the ground. They could kill civilians. They could kill anyone from the aid workers. I think that the UN itself has lost people, and they want to intervene in the coming hours.
Yes, there is news reports of several international aid agencies pulling out of Sudan because of the situation there. How do you think this will affect the humanitarian situation on the ground? How will the Sudanese people survive with the much-needed aid?
It will deteriorate the situation. We have seen the scenes in the hospitals. The people are now are trying to find the doctors are not able to work anymore. We have heard in the first hours or the first days of the fighting, more than 20 hospitals were out of service. And now it's everywhere in Khartoum. It's the capital. That means that the biggest center of medical support in Sudan is being heavily affected. I think the possibility there will be some hospital tents inside the Egyptian border for the refugees. Egypt has done that. They can come and have support, but also, I repeat, this has to be with the aid of the UN because it's a huge responsibility of a nation that has chosen to find a safe haven or refuge, which is Egypt. So it's very complicated, and we also know that the truth would not hold because every part, whether the Fatah al-Burhan or Mohammed Hamdan Duklu, both of them are just promising that they will win the war.
Yes,
so we don't know when they will finish this act.
Yes. So do you believe, sir, that given the current heightened tensions there, possibilities of mediation could seem almost fruitless?
We are, the Arab countries, we are all working together, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, even the Americans and the EU also. We have called for an urgent meeting in Riyadh for the heads of the two factions. I think that they want to, whether Duglo or Burhan, one of them wants to gain more gains on the ground before negotiating. They want to ensure each one of them that he would not be defeated militarily before sitting on the negotiating table. And let's not forget also that both of them are subject to international influence. And this is what Egypt said from day one. No one should interfere inside Sudan.
Yes.
But unfortunately, both of them are listening to outside voices.
Yes.
So my estimation, they want to, each one of them, each camp, want to ensure his gains on the territories before sitting on the negotiating table.
Okay, Dr. Cherif Amir, political analyst, thank you so much for joining us over the phone. And we're going to take a short break and move on with the rest of the episode.